Well, hello everybody, and today we are going to be looking at this enhanced threat over portions of central Texas. So, as you can see, it is on the highway connecting this part of Texas to that southern part of Texas, and so it's going to be on a throughway that is going to be used. So it's going to be a good area to see a lot of hail reports and other stuff because there's going to be a lot of people in there. So this is one of those situations where for reporting wise, we're going to get a lot of live reports coming out of this. Something that is different from this compared to every other enhanced threat, it is very small, and everything else on the outside of it is small too. We're going to open up our Demo Pro here so we could show you where all of our drawings are going to be at for this. So we have this area of enhanced, and that's why we were doing this briefing today, and we do see that everything on the outside of it kind of matches it, just on a little bit of a bigger increasing level. So we're just going to talk about what's going on in this enhanced area. And as you can see, there is no local level for this. So we're just going to stick to this regional map here, and we'll discuss some of the stuff. So I've already read through this, and you can find this on the SPC's website, or you can come to Pivotal Weather and check it out. But over Central Texas, what's going to be going on is there's going to be a slower low that is going to be developing and moving through, and they are expecting damaging winds. There is a hail threat, and then they are expecting a couple of tornadoes. So through this area, Cape is going to be, it says it right here, Cape is going to be in the 2000s or higher range, and that will support severe storm development by the mid-afternoon near the low and associated convergence zone. So the convergence zone is where that warm, dry air is on one side, and that more of a humid, moist air is on the other side. Where they meet is called the convergence zone, and that's where our most severe weather happens. That's why it's along the dry line. You'll hear that mentioned multiple times if you look at weather stuff. So there can be both cellular and banded modes with this. So we could see squall lines and we could see supercells, and that is due to the fact that this is a low, so that whipping action that is going to be associated with it will allow for squall lines, but supercells will develop along with it. So it's going to be a multiple modes, that each one of those is a mode. It's going to be a multi-mode event, which can be just dangerous on its own because we could see the same areas hit multiple times. So we are seeing, it looks like damaging winds and tornadoes are most likely. With the supercells, hail is potential. It's potentially going to be big, but the big thing is that supercells will be forming, so we'll have to check out where and what we are seeing with those. So looking at our tornado, we are seeing 5% as of right now. That could get upgraded, but it's one of those things that it'll be on the day of most likely. That's tomorrow, potentially later in the day. Hail-wise, we do see that significant in here, so expect supercells and hail. And then wind, obviously, is going to be centered right in that enhanced area because that's where our most severe storms are going to be at. So, there's your look at the enhanced. And so we're going to go ahead and show you what you can expect temperature-wise. And so we'll stay in this area and we'll check out the temperatures pretty much at different times. So tomorrow is Wednesday, so we'll check out really the morning hours. Did not mean to click on that at all. Okay, there we go. So in the morning hours, we already see the temperatures up in the 70s right in here. It's just going to be, it's a warm day. It's going to be 80 down here, some 80s over here. And then as we get into the afternoon, this is around 4 p.m., we do see a line that does form down through here that is allowing for 80s and 90s to pack in right behind it, and we'll see storm development right out in front of this. And so you could see some cells back through here, and even up in here, it's suggesting some cells that could form just based on temperature, because you'll see the rain-cooled environment. It's like if you were to click on one of them, see there's none on it. And you can see that these storms they could be just some light rain showers or something like that in there. But these are pockets of clouds and stuff where it's going to be a little bit lighter, and this could sometimes help show where the rain will be at. So starting out somewhere definitely in this area. So we'll show you the height with wind And throughout the day, we'll start out in the morning hours. So this is an afternoon main threat. So we see some winds, not too crazy anywhere in the morning hours. As we go into the afternoon hours, we just see there's a few pockets of some heavier wind gusts in there, not expecting anything crazy. But it's when we get to around dinner time is when we start seeing these streaks of potential supercells of 30 knots. That's roughly, I think it's about 34 mile per hour. So some other pockets in here, but nothing too crazy. And I just now realize that says Thursday. So we're actually going to pop back to that Wednesday. And, yep, okay, we're good. So we'll see that there is some, you see way down here, there's a lot of wind. But up in here, not expecting anything too crazy. But as we get into the later PM hours is where we're seeing this stuff start to dive down in here. So this model is showing a few supercells. And if we look at the same scan on the HRRR, it's showing a little bit more some severe winds with some cells out over here. And then if we include that with, we can look at a few other models in here. That one doesn't have the temperatures, or that one has temperatures rather than wind. If we look at the 850, say about the same. The RAP is showing right about in here is where that could be at. So if we pop back down to our Namconis and we go back to our regional here in South Central Texas, we are going to see that on just kind of that simulated IR satellite, we could see, there's going to be some rain out in here and stuff, and then we'll see some stuff start to form down through here. Just looking at the reflectivity, obviously just some pop-ups occurring in the morning hours, but really in the evening hours is where we're going to see some supercells. So looking at some areas of low pressure, we could see one area in here, another area in here. These are each of their own pressure fields. So we could see multiple storms develop out of these. We do see that major low forming out over parts of the central part of that state. So we're going to see not really affecting Texas. What's really going on behind the scenes is some supercells. So we click on the middle of this one. We are going to see that it's talking about that it's a marginal severe. The problem is with this, the temperatures are super close up there. We don't see really a split until a few thousand feet up. But looking at this, we are seeing a little bit more some wind gusts, but we do have a 50% chance of tornadoes with this storm right in here. And note that that area of enhanced threat was somewhere about right in there. So we'll have to pay attention to all of these, like clicking onto this one. It's a marginal tornado threat. We do see that gigantic band. So these should be some quicker moving storms, but we see a whole mess looking at these photographs. And that's showing us overall what all could happen with that. So that is, before we go on to the instability in the Cape, I do want to see what these show on multiple models. So this is on the NAM 3 kilometer CONUS. If we go to the HRRR for the same time, it's showing a little bit, it's favoring that eastern portion of the storm in there on the HRRR. So definitely an area of potential concern is that eastern is showing strong on both. But the problem is some of the photographs haven't been updated yet, so we aren't quite sure on some of these. It's definitely looking like this eastern clump through all the different models are showing. See, this one shows all of them. So this one's actually favoring a little bit further to the west. That's why it's good to look at multiple convection models, is because you really see, so really our pinpoint location is somewhere in here is where we're seeing severe stuff on all three of them, or all 5 of them, no, 4. So going back to this, we could see multiple supercells forming with this, and then that's going to be associated with a little bits of lows that are going to form throughout this portion of Texas. So I want to go ahead and show you your most unstable cape for the area. Texas normally has a high amount of cape, so this is going to show us basically what all to expect. And I'm going to go ahead and come forward a little bit in this. So not a crazy amount of CAPE. So we saw a few weeks ago, we saw this purple in the 4000s CAPE a few weeks ago covering the entire state. And most of this is because of daytime heating. Now note, 2000 here is crazy considering tornadoes can form as low as 500. So we do see that stuff can form here, and we do see that it's supported by some southern energy. So as we go through the day, we will see these start to form, and we'll see some pockets of higher CAPE that's going to allow some storm convection, especially throughout the daytime. And the nighttime is where we'll see it's all kind of die off and then just travel into the south, where it could develop again, but not expecting too much craziness going on. But looking back to our normal mixed layer CAPE, overall what we are expecting is in the 2000s. We already read that as a part of that National Weather Service statement. Little pockets will support upwards of 4,000. If I can land right on that, we'll see what it's talking about here. And so potential, we do see that little bit of a kidney bean shape in there. Potential for tornadoes in there, but what we're really expecting is supercells. Nothing surprising with that. So looking at our convective inhibition, we see in here what can really form. And this shows us the highest areas for potential supercell formation in pockets where the energy is there for storms. And we do see it's right in this area in the mid-afternoon time. That's why we're going to keep looking at that, is because look at over dinner time. Crazy amounts of energy being able to build up in here. And if we look at the level of convection, we do see that this whole pocket is going to be able to really have some storms build behind it. So looking at supercells during this time in the afternoon, potentials, we're not seeing huge supercells. It looks like a few dominating storms will take over. And this model, I wonder if it's going to match what the HRRR is suggesting. So the HRRR is going a little bit more severe on this. So 28 is what we clicked on here, and that they're showing higher levels of potential, definitely supercells going on according to the HRRR model. So stuff can change, different models have different outlooks, but definitely HRRR is showing what's going on is more severity in these storms. So different models go different ways and show different ensembles of data, and that allows people to be able to cross-examine them. But we always see something in common with this, is that somewhere in here, and then this will be traveling, that was a horrible arrow, this will be traveling that way. It definitely in the circle where the enhanced zone is going to have some of that extra energy with it. And looking at all this, we will be able to see a lot of energy feeding on the back side of it. And looking at how much can be lifted, we are seeing that a lot of this might go severe. And you can see that supported here, especially with that tiny bit of a rotation in that kidney bean shape. So showing you your SIGTOR on the HRRR model, it looks like the biggest cells as of right around mid-afternoon are going to be in this part of Texas. Anywhere up and down this line is where we could expect that. As we go to dinner time, or as we go throughout the afternoon, it looks like these individual supercells will be forming their own tornado threat. And so that was stated in that, if you want to go back and read it, but each supercell is going to be rotating. So that's why we're seeing different little dots in there having higher amounts, is because every supercell is going to be rotating to the point where we could expect some tornadic activity out of them. And as we see, each one of these out to the east will potentially have that potential for tornadoes, and they're saying a marginal tornado threat with that classic supercell structure. So definitely all these, we do see some longer track supercells that could occur in through here. This one has some interesting spin. See this up in here? That's how you can tell. I'll highlight it here in red. That's showing that spin in the atmosphere with supercells. That's definitely allowing us to see what all could be going on there. And then as we go into the kind of later dinner hours, we are going to see that each one of these supercells down through here will be its own severe system. So obviously this one out here, this system, including this one, could be the most severe overall. So definitely I'd be watching out for these. And then obviously those are going to die off as the sun goes down. So I want to go back to the similar time to that, and I want to see what the Namconis is looking at with this. See, it's much more cooled down, but it all agrees on one thing. Opportunities are going to be occurring in here. So if we go ahead and look at what the NAM is saying, it's actually suggesting, rather than Namconis, the NAM is really showing us that this storm system is going to have the highest chance of potentially having them. We do see that really kidney bean shape. That's a classic telltale sign of potential tornadoes. We're looking at potential supercells in there, but really the fact that this line is right in here is showing us that we do have a higher chance. Based on CAPE, the probability of an EF2 plus tornado with supercell, we do see a 20% chance right here. 15, 14, 27, 32 is the highest. So pretty much averaging those out, we have roughly 20 to 25% chance. This says down here, this is kind of interesting, there are 5 loose matches in here, but the SARS on this model says 100% chance of a tornado in this. You can see that all that rotation is being shown in here. So do not take this literally saying that, okay, there will be a tornado right there. Big key important factors is that this system has the ability, it has the 100% of the ability to do it. Does not mean it's going to do it. Every condition has to be right. It's just that if you're looking at all the stuff, all the ingredients you need to make a tornado, it's all in this area. And that's why we've seen this enhanced threat put out over this area, is because that has the energy for that. So definitely interesting overall, looking at all that. If we go back and look at the wind, we might see, yeah, this system's looking like it's going to be guided by some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds. So definitely not a gusty environment. That's not our biggest threat, is winds, but really we're looking for hail, some downburst potential with individual supercells, and then that tornado threat looks like it could potentially be one of the big factors into that. So going back to our forecast and seeing what they're talking about here on the day 2, highlighting some areas of concern, I would watch anything in really this sector just to the, if you were to split this right down the middle, I'd watch anything in this sector of the enhanced. We'll just highlight parts of the enhanced zone just because. I'd watch just east of this highway as it jogs to the south west a little bit more. I'd watch anything if you live east of this highway really overall. Put a kind of a line through here. This cell is going to be a little bit more severe. So overall, pay attention to that. And then also look, if you live, I believe this is a river down through here. Right along this river and then clear up to the slight range is where I would expect the other systems to really start to build up. So you'll see beginning of the systems forming way out over here, but we'll see the peaks of them somewhere in here. So definitely overall, if you live anywhere in that slight area, I'd be watching out and being weather ready, because it is going to be a very severe day for you. That does not mean that just because you don't live in the enhanced that you do not have a threat. You have the same threat as the people in the enhanced, just purely because of your location. Just look at how close you are at every given angle. You're super close. And so you have a very similar threat to them, and stuff can shift in either directions. So really overall, right along here and then just east of this highway is where I would expect the biggest storms to form, so I'd pay attention to that. So make sure you're staying tuned all day tomorrow if you live anywhere in here, because severe supercells will be forming since they're kind of associated with a small and weak low, they will be rotating to begin with. So these cells are going to be prepped for tornado development. So I'd watch out for that tomorrow. So make sure you are staying tuned to your news and your local news stations, especially if you live down, I believe this is San Antonio, so I'd pay attention to that. So you would definitely want to be prepared for this and have all of your weather plans in place, because they could end up saving your life. We want to thank you again for watching this, and stay tuned to our Twitter and Instagram. That will be all linked in the description. For more updates, you can check out our forecast, which will be posted tomorrow about this, potentially with more updates on this. And then remember to be weather ready all day tomorrow through these threats. Thank you again, and stay safe.